Happy Tuesday, guys, and welcome in here to WagerTalk TV. This is Puck Time. I'm Andrew. I have Carmine and Dom Buster with me to break down 3 games, including a standalone game with Buster. And we also have best bets at the end of the show. Really quick, guys, want to let you guys know about a promo we are running, and that is Access 7. That will take $30 off a 7-day all-access pass. It is a great code. It's useful for myself, but also Carmine and Buster. That's Access 7, not just for hockey, but for all sports. And you can get everything that we release to our clients. Carm, we've got the Stars, Wings, Lightning, Philly, and Capitals Wild. What do you have for us with the Dallas Stars and Detroit Red Wings?
Yeah, this is Andrew. This is an interesting one because I was hoping the line would not move on this one overnight because I wanted to make it a play, and I might still end up making a play. I think this is a really good spot for the Dallas Stars, and I get it. Listen, Detroit is playing well. They're stringing some wins together, but I said at the beginning of the year I thought Dallas was one of the best teams, if not the best team in the West. Of course, Winnipeg, Vancouver, and Colorado have sort of taken the bulls by the horn, and they're right up there, vying for that top spot. Dallas, obviously, some goaltending issues with injuries, but Ottinger's back. I think he's looked really good. The Stars can score goals when they need them, but they can also play D, and they're starting to play some better D as well too, in front of Ottinger. They lose the last game in OT to the Islanders. First game for Patrick Waugh as coach of the Islanders, new coach of the Islanders, of course, and we always see that new coach uptick. But I like the way this team is playing right now. I like what they did when they went into New Jersey and beat them 6-2. That was a completely dominating performance by them. And you look at their losses on their card over the last maybe couple of weeks, a couple to Nashville, who always seem to play them tough, and then Philadelphia. Can't sneeze at anybody playing against Philadelphia or saying that the Flyers aren't a good team because they're in the playoff spot, and Tortorella's got him playing some very good hockey. And he himself, going off on a bit of a tangent, should be one of the favorites to win the Jack Adams Trophy for a top coach this season. But along with Vancouver's coach, Tocchet. But Andrew, I really like the spot. You're laying 140 here. It opened at 125, and it's gotten steamed, unfortunately, to 140. I think it's still going to make a play. I wanted to rate it a lot higher for my clients. It'll go up as a client play after the show, but give me Ottinger and the Dallas Stars to go into Detroit and beat a Hot Wings team. I am taking this Dallas team to start going on a much bigger run than they've been on as of late. I think they've gone 6-3 their last 9 games. This is a good spot for the Dallas Stars. Buster, what are your thoughts?
Well, Carmine, I don't really agree with you. It's a good spot for Dallas because Dallas is playing their 3rd game in 4 nights. I do agree with you a little bit about Dallas, although my play will be on the total. But of course, I like to give out an analysis on the side and total to help everybody out in this chat to decide, or everybody else watching, what they'd like here. Dallas has owned this Detroit team. Between the clubs, they've won 9 of the last 10. Another good thing for Dallas, anytime Dallas loses a game this season, they are 13-5 after a loss this season. So that's good for Dallas. Dallas beat them 6-3 on December 11th. That's good for Dallas. But this Detroit team has played some great hockey. They're 7-2 in their last 9 games. And I have a little list of here of who they've actually beat. It's not like they're beating the lower teams of the league. They beat LA twice, Florida, Toronto, Tampa Bay. They lose in overtime to Edmonton, the Red Hot Oilers, and they lose a close one to Carolina. Those are those 2 losses. So because that spot to me for Dallas might not be tough, because I've got to lay 140, I even saw 145, that kind of leans me off Dallas on the side. And because the way Detroit plays well, and they do, as we all know, they play much better at home, the Red Wings. And I really do like this young Red Wings club. I think it's a close game. Tough for me to lay that 145, 140 on them in what is going to be a close game between a couple of clubs that have been playing some really nice hockey. What I do like is the over here. I kind of lean the over, but what my play is, and I've already put it out to my clients, kind of with you on that Dallas a bit, if you want to say. Dallas, I'm using the Andrew play. I've been watching these plays for about a good 2 months ever since Andrew started doing them this year. Dallas, team total over the 3.5. I think you're going to see a lot of goals. I do like it over, but 6.5, you got to lay 145. It's probably already 7 maybe in some markets because the last time I seen it was this morning. But for me, because of I think it's just a real tough game between these two clubs, bad spot for Dallas. And I do think Dallas will score a lot of goals because they did lose that last game. They only scored 2 against the Islanders. Probably should have scored about 5 or 6. They outplayed them like crazy. So for me, Dallas, team total over 3.5, and I will be cheering for you, Carmine, to get the Dallas victory.
Dallas team total,
listen, no, I don't think Andrew, this number hits 7. It'll stay at 6.5. Like the VIG's at about 15 cents. It's those ones that where you see the VIG in the mornings, I think at about 130, 135. Shaded to the over, that you may eventually see the 7 under minus 120 as a line that pops up, kind of like what the Edmonton Oilers are, I think, tonight against Columbus. So I think it remains there. I think that the 3 games in 4 nights doesn't really bother me, just because of, you look at the travel in these 3 games in 4 nights. They were in New Jersey, and then from New Jersey they were in New York. That's a bus trip, if anything, and then over to after the game over to Detroit, which is a short flight as well, to optional skate. Not really worried about the rest at this point, but we'll see on the ice tonight.
As much as I love Buster jumping into the team totals there with the Dallas Stars, and they've been a great team total team, I'm going to throw a curveball at you guys actually and say I'm on the under in this one. Look, when I look at splits for certain teams, I find it super interesting where some teams play better as far as, winning, money line sides at home or on the road. Like the LA Kings have somehow been a way better road team this year. Well, Dallas Stars games go over at home a lot more than they go over on the road. 5 of their last 7 road games have gone under the total. And Buster mentioned Detroit playing better hockey lately. But if you look at just recently, just over the last 3 or 4 games, what's made them play better hockey against some of these good teams, I think, has been their defense, winning lower scoring games. There has been some games where they've scored 4 or 5 goals. I'm not going to deny that. But I have seen some of the ones where they've played against some really good teams that have been super tight. Am I worried that Dallas probably deserved to have a few more goals against the Islanders? For sure. I watched that game. I had a bet on the Islanders myself. Sorokin absolutely stood on his head. He did everything he could for that Islanders team to get Patrick Waugh his first victory. But this is just a small lean for me, guys. It won't make my card, but I guess I'm just playing contrarian here, Buster, with the 5 of the last 7 here on the road. And I find it just so interesting, like how you find some of these trends. Like some teams just play so much better in certain situations in their own barn on the road. Like, why are the LA Kings, a veteran group, so much better on the road? Is it a freak accident? Is it the schedule? I'm not sure, but the Dallas Stars certainly have much higher scoring games when they play at home versus on the road. So we'll see what happens tonight, but Dallas definitely isn't that old, low scoring team they used to be, but I'm just looking for kind of a defensive battle here tonight between these two clubs. We'll see. Maybe I'll cheer for you guys since it won't be an actual client play for me, but small lean to the under on my end here. Buster, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning and Philadelphia Flyers. Looking at this game here, we've got the Flyers, man, that just haven't really gone away. They're a team that they had expectations for themselves. The players seem confident, coaching staff going into the year, but don't they always? You're not going to be, feeling down about your team, but they seem like they had that extra belief before the season started that most people just didn't have about this Flyers team. And their rebuild that they've had with the younger players has really been quicker than most expected. What do you think about tonight? Does Philadelphia host the Lightning?
Yeah, Andrew, I'm just going to comment on what you said about LA there being at home. Maybe it's because they're in LA. I mean, there's lots of stuff going on there, lots of things to keep you your mind somewhere else. I don't know, but just throwing that out there. With this Tampa Philly game, Philly, I tell you, I like this team too. Kind of like Detroit. They're young and scrappy, and they play hard all the time. So that's always good. That's a sign of some good coaching, obviously, as well. But we have another team here in Tampa Bay that's dominated the series. They've won 8 of the last 10. And just like Dallas, they are also actually both teams here are on their third game in 4 nights. So that's just something to think about. Tampa Bay right now is arguably playing their best hockey, even though they lost in Detroit the other day. They've gone 6-2 their last 8, and that's by far their best hockey. And why are they playing that? Well, Vasilevsky is starting to show signs of his old self. Bottom line, that's you get some goaltending that inspires everybody else, and everybody just a snowball effect. And there's no doubt Tampa Bay is playing some really good hockey. Like I say, really like Philadelphia, like what they're doing, and they have lost 2 straight, mind you. But before that, they had won 6 out of 7. So again, another team here. You can see it in the line. The line's is a pick 'em from the last time I saw it. So you see the line, and again, though, a lot of people might believe, and I'm not sure if I believe it, but regression, right, for the Flyers. Weren't supposed to be this good of a club, but they are. Again, when you play tough, you play team hockey. They might not really regress, although they've lost 2 in a row. So picking a side here, I think is not really tough because of the price with Tampa Bay. You would think Tampa Bay is getting 130, whatever. So I actually do lean to Tampa Bay in this one here. As for the total, it's 6.5. I saw under. There was a couple 6s out there. If it's at 6.5, I really don't want no part of it. If it's at 6, I do like playing overs in teams that are on these third game in 4 nights. It seems like they might lack a little defense in those situations. So if you can get a 6, I'd bet it over. But I actually kind of lean Tampa Bay here just because the way they've been playing hockey and they're coming off a loss. Always like a good team off a loss.
I like that angle as well, and you're right about Vasilevsky. I mean, I think what we've really learned this year is that really how much of a factor he was on this team the entire time they've been great, Carm. I mean, we all knew that Vasilevsky was great, but when you lose a couple guys over the years, you really realize how much he really brings to the team. And when he has a bad game, it hurts them. When he plays well, it helps them a ton. What do you think about this one, though, Carmen? It's kind of like the up-and-coming team against the team that's been good for many years.
I'm going a different route here. I'm going to go a prop bet in this one, Andrew, and it's just because the Philadelphia Flyers, since the start of the new year, and they were doing it last year, in 2023 to start the season as well, too, they are getting so many pucks on the net. They have, I think, to start 2024, I think they have the number 1 shots on goal right now. They're averaging 37.9, so 38 shots on goal per game. So those save props for the opposition goalies, you want to be taking advantage of it. Look at these numbers since January the 2nd. 37 against the Oilers, 41 against Columbus, 42 against Calgary, 37 against the Penguins, 39 against the Canadiens, 35 against Minnesota, 36 against the Jets, 42 against St. Louis, 43 against Dallas, 40 against Colorado, and then last time out brought their average down in that 5-3 loss to the Senators. Only 25 shots on goal, 33 plus in pretty much every single game. 11 games they've played. In 10 of those, they've been in the high 30s and 40s. If you like the Flyers at home tonight, they're going to get some shots on goal against Vasilevsky if Vasilevsky is scheduled to start. We know Urson is confirmed for the Flyers. I'm waiting for any one of the 2 goalies for Tampa Bay to get confirmed because the prop only goes up once the goalie is confirmed. So once he goes up, I'm taking the save props. for Tampa Bay, because Philly is going to pepper the net, or at least I hope they will.
I love those goalie props. They're great. And that way you don't really have to worry about shots on goal props for that team. You just take save props for the goalie and just expect a ton of shots during that game. It's a great one. And as you mentioned, for everybody out there, don't panic if your book is not showing that prop or goalie props right now. Usually that's the last one to pop up throughout the day. Guys, I'm going to go with the road team here with Tampa Bay. Kind of like I mentioned, that old dog that's kind of still hanging around. I mean, still, we see Philadelphia playing well, and I get it. But if you told me at the start of the season we'd be getting a pick 'em price here between these two teams, I'd be saying, hey, you know what? I'd really like to bet on Tampa Bay. And I know that you have to be able to adjust your handicapping and be able to change how you feel about a team throughout the season. But 12-2 straight up last 14 meetings in favor of Tampa. And Tampa has dominated this matchup on the road. And, Tampa had a good string of wins against some okay teams, throwing Minnesota, Buffalo, Anaheim, New Jersey, Los Angeles, some good teams, some not so great teams. And they dropped one game against Detroit, losing that one 2-1. I'm confident they'll respond. And guys, their top guys have been unbelievable, just leading them. I used to always mention the depth of the Tampa Bay Lightning, but this year I have to just talk about their superstars. Nobody really will mention this, and you guys know I'm a huge fan of Nathan MacKinnon since he's from kind of around where I'm from. Nikita Kucherov is second in the league in points to Nathan MacKinnon. The next guy with third has 10 points fewer. He's also second to Nathan MacKinnon in assists. The Kucherov is having one of his best seasons in several years, carrying this team on his back. And if you get some good goaltending now and some steady defensive play, I feel like this is kind of the old Tampa Bay Lightning. After some harsh words you saw from John Cooper a couple of games ago, I feel like this team means business, and they're not going away just quite yet. Philadelphia's done a great job of putting a lot of shots on goal, as Carr mentioned. But I feel like if Tampa Bay keeps them to the outside, they can prevent some goals here and play a good defensive game. I actually lean towards the under in this one, but I'm going to just rock with Tampa. I feel like we're getting a great price on this game. And to me, this is kind of like that, like I mentioned, kind of like that old school team saying, not so fast to Philadelphia. And I know Philadelphia has some veterans on their team, but I just think this is the price that I can't really pass up here, rocking with the Tampa Bay Lightning. So I'll go with the road team, and I'll mention to you guys, I have not worried about home ice advantage in so long. This year in the NHL especially, unless it's a really dominant like split road home with over-unders or sides, I don't really care whether a team is at home or on the road. So with this meeting in particular, it does not matter to me at all what the situation is. So Tampa Bay Lightning for me, guys, on the money line. Buster, you have a breakdown for us on a game that we are not talking about, the three of us. What is it, and what do you have for us?
Well, thank you, Andrew. I'm going to discuss our Montreal Canadiens against Ottawa. Well, Andrew, as we both know, our Canadiens have really taken a beating these last couple of games, losing 9-4 to Boston and 6-2 to Ottawa on Thursday, the same Ottawa team they played tonight. Now, they do have some instant revenge here, but it's a little bit of a bad spot. They're on coming off a 3-game road trip, and this will be that first home game. So, and Montreal haven't been playing that well lately. You know, they play well at home, but they haven't played that well. They've lost 5 of their last 7. And I hate to say, maybe this is where the wheels start falling off. I hope not, because they've been playing some great hockey for really not having a whole lot. They've had getting some good goaltending, playing some team hockey. And team hockey wins a lot of games over an 82 game schedule. Might not win, to get you to the playoffs, but hey, they've been doing pretty good. But a little worried that this might be the time that they start losing a bunch of games. Now, Ottawa will be playing their 3rd game in 4 nights here, but they've dominated this Montreal club over the last 7 games, beating them 7 straight games, including that 6-2 game on Thursday. Bad spots for both of these clubs. So, and I really don't want to lay 145, 150 with Ottawa on the road, because Montreal does play a little bit better at home. What I will do, Andrew, I'm going to go back to the Andrew McGinnis team total. I like this team total over 3.5 for Ottawa. And in those 7 games that Ottawa has beat Montreal of late, 6 of those games they've scored 5 goals. The other game they scored 3. We only need 4 tonight. I think just the way Ottawa has been playing, they put up 5 in Philly the other day. Again, they just have their way with this Montreal club. If you're betting this game, if you want to lay a lot of high juice, a total of 6.5 over 35. Might be a good correlation game, but to bet Ottawa and over. But for me, that's a lot of juice in Ottawa, a lot of juice in the total. That total probably will get to 7, I believe. Maybe Carmine doesn't believe, but I think this one will get to 7 if it's not there already. But for us, we're going to take Ottawa team total over 3.5.
All right, Don Buster with his breakdown. I like it, Buster. I hope you get the win. Guys, you can use the code ACCESS and then the number 7, ACCESS7, if you want to get $30 off a 7-day all access for Don Buster, our regular Tuesday guest. He could be out on the beach right now and just soaking up the rays, but he is putting in his time here, and we thank him for it. Also, hit that like button. Guys, I just want to mention a couple other things. Tomorrow, before we go to the final game and our show Best Bets, tomorrow, Wednesday, is Customer Appreciation Day at WagerTalk. All packages are $5. Everything other than 5% plays, but any package up or play up is $5 as part of the customer appreciation. Great job by our crew in Detroit, always putting together these promos. And our regular Thursday guest, Brian Leonard, has a 5% play up tonight in the NHL. I can tell you one thing. It's not the Seattle Kraken because they don't play tonight. So give Brian some love. Head over to his page at Wager Talk. Brian's been killing it at Wager Talk since the inception with NHL, I think #1 in NHL since Wager Talk sprung to life. So, Brian, good luck with your play tonight. And Andrew, I'll toss it back to you.
Carm, I'm going to toss it back to you because I'm curious why you chose this game to be on the board here for us to talk about tonight. So I want to hear it from you here. We've got the Capitals and Wild. -160 is the number I'm hearing for the Wild, total at 6. What intrigued you about this one?
Well, here's the thing. And for you guys wondering why these games are on there, on the weekends, I put together what games we're going to discuss throughout the week, but also I put together a schedule for the guys who aren't on the show. If they want to film a single video, I give them some games of interest, and you'll find them up on the Wager Talk site later on. So there's some other games today that you'll be able to find on there, but at the same time, let's avoid these games that are -300 or higher, like the Oilers tonight as well. Too. Nobody wants to hear about trying to find a play with a -400 favorite. But with that said, I talked yesterday about this Minnesota Wild team and getting Kiprusoff back, and they are going to go on a run. Whether it begins tonight or not, we'll have to see. But I like the price right now in Minnesota, and it's at 160 right now. Earlier this morning, they had listed that it could be Marc-Andre Fleury in goal. I knew that was going to change because he did not play on the weekend. He was injured. And I figured it's likely going to be Gustafsson. And now I see Gustafsson's name there, although yet to be confirmed. But obviously, you want him in goal. They're getting their players back. They're going to start to string some wins together. And those games, listen, that is the murderer's row when you go to Florida and you play Tampa Bay. You allow 7 goals, and then you've got to play Florida the next night, and they beat Florida 6-4. And then you think it's done with, and then they play their third in 4 nights against the Carolina Hurricanes in Carolina, and they win there too, 5-2. A team that is starting to score goals. And remember, we talked about Minnesota not being able to score goals when we were all fading them. They are scoring goals now. They're getting a Caps team that doesn't allow a lot and is more of an under team, but one that's going to start to show regression. They couldn't score in the second of a back-to-back against St. Louis, losing 3-0 to the Blues. And the Wild schedule is favorable enough that they are going to string a bunch of wins together, I believe. at least a lot more wins than losses over their next 10 games or so. And I think you want to get on the Minnesota train at the right time. And I think tonight's the right time. You can split your bet. Take a money line on Minnesota for half of what you wanted to play and put the other half on the Minnesota puck line. Bring that line right down. And I think it's a good play to take tonight. So Minnesota Wild for me, Mr. McInnes. And we'll see what the Don says here. Buster?
The Dawn.
Well, Carmine, I agree with you that Minnesota is going to start to come around. I'm just not sure if it's going to be tonight. I think this is going to be a really close game to take here. I really believe, like, the first game was 3-2. I know it was earlier in the year for Washington in overtime. Geez, I could see something close like that too tonight. Maybe the draw players might like this game. I really think we have a live dog here. I really think Washington is a live dog. They're 140. Geez, I think that's a high line Minnesota at 160. So, again, we all have our opinions on what we believe of the lines. This is going to be the first home game for the Wild after that 3-game road trip. And they did win those last 2 games. But the reason why they won, Carmine kind of leaned on that. It's because of Gustafsson. He's been playing really well. I mean, they beat Carolina. They've put up some goals, there's no doubt. But they beat Carolina the other day. Geez, I think they only had 5 shots or 6 shots go almost into the second period. Carolina just dominated them. But, the goaltenders win hockey games in this league. And we all know that. That's what he's been doing now. And again, I just think it's maybe a little bit of a bad spot because it's that first home game. And Washington play tight checking, like Carm said. They play a lot of unders. They play tight checking type of hockey. And again, I'm not going to lay 160 with Minnesota, but I do agree with Carmine on one thing, that this club will start to put a bunch of wins together. I just don't think it's tonight. I think Washington is a live dog. Just a touch of anybody that would like to play the total. Believe it or not, the over is 6-1. The last 7 games between these clubs. Minnesota has been 5-2 to the over the last 7. But again, Washington is an under club. They're 5-1 to the last 6 to the under. This game, I think I would lean under personally. But I actually really like the dog here, getting 140 with a Washington club that, to me, this could be a very, very close game, and you might have to win in overtime again.
All right, Buster. I have no problem going mano a mano with you on this one. Andrew, let me ask you a question. So I get it. It's always, when you look at the buy and sell, you're looking at a lot of teams. You're looking at the buy and sell. When I look at schedule forecasting, I look at teams literally on the weekend. I spend a couple of hours going through every team's schedule for the next couple of weeks, looking at 3 out of 4 back-to-backs. Or soft schedule. So here is Minnesota's, and I talked about it. So what I'm asking you is, here's their next, let's say, 8 to 10 games. You tell me what you think their record's going to be. They play the Caps tonight. Then Nashville's in a couple of days. Then they have Anaheim coming in. They go to Chicago. They have Pittsburgh coming in. Then they head out west to take on Vegas, Arizona, before returning home to face the Sabres. So what do you think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games there.
That's a lot you just threw at me there, Carm. I was going to say maybe they'll go 4-2 over their next 6. How's that sound? 4-2 over their next 6.
And they finish off with Arizona and Buffalo.
Maybe 5-3 their next 8. How's that sound?
Yeah. It sounds absolutely agree? Horrible, but
you don't agree?
I'm going to go with 6-2 at worst. How's that?
6-2 at worst. Okay.
At worst.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought 6-2, 5-3. I said 4-2 over the next 6. So that's not bad. Look, I've been the one advocating for how much different this team is without Kaprizov. It's actually insane how much different they play. The Devils finally have a big game last night. If you're hockey fans, I'm sure you were able to tune in for a second or at least follow along with that Vegas and New Jersey game yesterday. Unbelievable for them to put up some goals finally without Jack Hughes being out there. But, it's funny because I hear you guys break down the games. When I go last, sometimes I hear some stuff you guys say, and it like almost takes me off my play I was going to say, or it helps me with the play I was going to say. And I just heard Buster like so many times talking about the unders with Washington. Carm mentioned them being a defensive team, and I get it. And I'm disappointed that I have not made money betting on these unders enough with this Washington team. They've gotten good goaltending, and it hasn't gone anywhere. Their goaltending has been there, that's for sure. With all of that being said, guys, I like the over in this game, actually. You know, with the offensive weapon being back, with Minnesota playing the fast brand of hockey they are, with their power play being as good as it is, and with the Capitals coming off a game where they were shut out, I think we do get an offensive response from them tonight. So, I mean, these trends, you know, for me, when I look at these trends, you can find a little bit for both, but there are a lot towards the under here in this one. But Minnesota, as much as they've been improving their offensive numbers, getting healthier, and that helps, I honestly don't trust their defense. I think a lot of it has to do with the workload Marc-Andre Fleury had. But even with Gustafsson back in net, I feel like he's seeing a lot of pucks. So that's going to really, really affect him tonight, I think, and I'm hoping to see some goals here. And I want to mention, for all of you guys out there that follow the funny little trends and theories that we create here on the show, another angle with a team playing the same team in back-to-back games with the Capitals and the Blues. We saw one go over and one go under. I'm telling you guys, it happens every single time. Whenever teams play each other back-to-back, one game goes under, one game goes over. You just got to go the opposite of what happens in the first game. I know that's not really a handicapping tool for you guys, but it just seems to happen every single time. I'm taking the over, guys. I expect goals here. I think the offense is going to get better, getting healthier for the Wild. I'm hoping the Washington Capitals can trade goals with them as well. Any final thoughts,
Andrew,
guys?
Yeah, listen, I know how we can make that work. Yesterday, you talked about the Florida, I think the Florida team total you might have talked about. I said, listen, how about 4-1 for Florida on the it was the dad's trip, I guess, or whatever, and get the win. And it finished 4-1. So you want the over? How about Minnesota tonight, 5-2? That's plus 2,000, 20-1. Slice of pizza, Andrew, and you can eat pizza for the next 20 days. With that pizza slice, you'd probably gain about 15 pounds. But 5-2 Minnesota gets you there with your over. It gets me there with my win and the puck line as well, too, and gets us 20-1 on our money. So just a little flyer out there. How's that?
Hey, it's grocery day, man. I wouldn't mind, a nice little price like that covering the grocery tab for today. So wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, man. Hitting that ticket would be wild. You get it?
Nice one. Nice one. I didn't know Brian Leonard was on the show today. Brian usually makes the dad jokes here. Speaking of, Brian does a 5% play. Brian is a 5% play, guys, tonight. He's been red hot. Carmine mentioned it, so guys, make sure to check out that play from him. Buster, what do you have going on tonight with your clients, and what's your show best bet for us?
Yeah, I just want to thank Carmine and the powers that be in the head office for putting up that great deal for us. It's a 7-day all access. That's a great deal. As Carmine had said, use Access 7 and take 30 days off, 7-day all access pass. That includes any 5% plays we happen to have up. We do NHL, college basketball. The NFL playoffs are coming up. Do some golf as well. So you want to grab that deal this week. Going to have a good week this week, and you'll be glad you did. As far as the show play that we have for everyone today, we're going to go on a first period puck line play, and we're going to have a first period puck line on the New York Rangers. I thought it was a pretty good line. First period puck line, Rangers, it's even money. Now, we actually had LA last night in the same spot against the San Jose club. And, they did everything but score a goal. I can't believe they put up about 18, 19 shots on net. Just got robbed on a bunch of saves. So, anyways, those things do happen. Never got the goal. I think we get the goal here, or maybe a couple goals from New York, because this is within 24 hours. San Jose has to play this Rangers club, who have really struggled in the first periods. They fell quickly to Anaheim the last game. So I believe there's going to be a mindset to get off to a good start, and it helps that San Jose just played not even 24 hours before this game. So give us the Rangers on the puck line for our free play on the show today. And as always, to everyone in the chat, everyone that will watch this later, best of luck with all your plays on any sport that you guys are out there betting. And again, from Mexico, have a great day.
Whenever you say that, Buster, I feel like you're just like messing with us. Like, you know, you're gonna have a great day, so you hope we all do too. All right, good luck, Buster, and it's a great spot there. And it's not a Tuesday without a first period play given out. Carm, you're heating up in the NHL, man. Number one last 30 days, I do believe. What do you have going tonight for clients, and what's your best bet?
Yeah, yesterday I obviously wasn't ideal. I always talk about it. When the Pittsburgh Penguins score in their own net, like they did yesterday on a delayed penalty, I turned the TV off because I'm like, I'm not watching anymore. This is enough. Last time I saw someone score in their own net, it was like Steve Smith scoring in the Smythe final in his own net. He banked it off of Grant Fuhr when they were playing the Calgary Flames. Speaking of the Calgary Flames, they're in action tonight, and this is going to be my show free play. I'm going to take Calgary in regulation here. I'm not going to lay that. VIG is moving, and it's moving fast on them. They're getting a lot of action in the markets right now. Calgary is, since the overlay number came out. I think this is a good spot for them off of back-to-back losses against the Oilers and the Toronto Maple Leafs. They get a Blues team that are showing some regression as well to come to town. And the Blues did win in Calgary earlier this season, shutting them out 3-0, and that's when Calgary was struggling. Calgary's playing a little bit better now, and they have their next 3 games are games that can springboard them into one of those wild card spots. They got 3 very winnable games, and I think anything short of a 3-0 run over the next 3 games is going to be a big disappointment for this team. I'm going to look for them to jump out in front of the Blues early and win this in 60. That is your show best bet. And there's a 4-pack up at WagerTalk, and there's some great deals out there. That Carm 75 to get the 75 off a 30-day all access, all plays across all sports at WagerTalk. And I've got a busy month ahead, so take advantage of that, and let's make some money, guys.
Go Flames, go, guys. Carm 75 takes $75 off a 30-day pass. All sports, not just hockey. That's all sports for him. And guys, I have a 5% play going tonight in the National Hockey League. Looking forward to a big night. Up 17 units this month here in January. Great way to start off the 2024 hockey season. So plus 17 units and 15% ROI. So really cashing in on some great plus money as well here in the NHL. And guys, that promo code you can see right below me, Access7. Buster mentioned it. Access7 takes $30 off a 7-day all sports pass. So don't bother buying the 5%. Buy that special. Access7 takes $30 off a 7-day pass. I will have NBA plays tonight, and I will have other plays in the NHL besides that one NHL 5% play. For my free play for today, guys, I'm going to go with the Montreal Canadiens. Yes, I know I'm a fan of the team, but they are plus 125 tonight at home, where I believe they play their best hockey. They're getting a rapid revenge spot after losing to the Ottawa Senators last Thursday, giving up 6 goals to them, giving up a whopping 9 goals against the Boston Bruins on Saturday. If there's ever a time to see a focused group and a motivated and defensive effort, I believe tonight is the night. Montreal, their thing this year has been inconsistency. One game they beat the Rangers, the next game they lose to the Sharks. One game they beat the Avalanche, next game they lose to the Sabres. Inconsistency is a real rough thing for young teams, but after 2 tough losses, I do believe they bounce back. This is a record, 17-24-1 the Ottawa has, and they're laying a big price here. Plus 125, I think, is definitely worth the bet here on the Montreal Canadiens for my show best bet. Guys, enjoy your days. Best of luck tonight. We'll see you tomorrow right